This is the Southern Tier Ride, day 5 from Yuma to the rest area north of Dateland. It's the Sentinel rest area on Interstate 8. The adventure cycling route is actually different. It takes you around Yuma, doesn't go into Yuma, and if you can see the map to the right, it takes you around the farmland area and avoids the hills. I see nothing wrong with going that way. I didn't want to because I was staying at a truck stop just outside of Yuma in the Fortuna foothill area. And anyway, I didn't want to go that way. You may want to. There's no problem going that way. If you want a nice little hill, easy hill climb, that you can go the same way I did. So let's start the ride, and we'll see how close I am. Just getting ready now to get on the freeway. And turning left, going northeast on the freeway out of town, slowly going over the hills. You can see the hill in the distance. If I zoom out, you can see it, how the road is going to go there. You can see shortly I will be leaving all of the incorporated area of the Yuma vicinity. It was actually a very pleasant ride up this hill. And this was the main climb. If you look down the bottom of the map, you can see the elevation map, and that's the hill that I'm going to be going up over. This wasn't, there wasn't a lot of traffic on the road, and it made for a gentle, easy ride up over the, if you want to call it a pass. So this ride was 72 miles long and lasted for 5.5 hours. Now the max average speed, because this was an easy ride, my average speed over the whole day was 19.2 miles an hour, which is pretty quick. But there was nothing difficult about this day. You can see we're now going under the other freeway, kind of like the Grapevine in California. And at this point, we're getting ready to go downhill. Excuse me. The shoulder was fine. I enjoyed the downhill ride, and nothing unusual. Here you can see again, you can cross back over now, and we're getting back to the flat area of the ride. From here on out, for the rest of this ride for me, you can see there's nothing, excuse me, really exciting about it. It's just flat land, I can go one more down in the distance, and you'll see that in the immediate distance there's no hills, but there is way, way in the distance. Now, the adventure cycling route may in fact take you through the farmland to the left. I don't know. I don't know that I would enjoy that ride over there any more than riding down the freeway, other than you would get to see some crops. And I'll leave that choice up to you. I actually don't mind the freeway ride. And now, total ascent during this day was 1,458 feet, approximately. Total descent, 1,117 feet. The minimum elevation was 240 feet. The maximum elevation was only 798 feet. So there's not much. It's basically flat, hence, and there wasn't, you can see there's not a lot of wind out here. When I do day 6, there's a horrendous wind at 16 to 20 miles an hour. And some of those were crosswinds, which made it kind of rough, but here there was nothing. You can see on a few spots the road is a little rough, broken up there, but it's not terribly bad throughout the day. There were a few rougher patches. So this is just kind of, you have to go through this area in order to get up to the Phoenix area, which is the area that I coincidentally live in. I live in Florence, outside of Phoenix, in the southeast part of the area. And that's where I'm actually riding to. So on this route, and I kind of recommend going this way on the adventure cycling route in the southern tier. When we get up to Gila Bend, tomorrow you can go straight north and get into Phoenix, or you can then turn east and head towards the Tucson, Casa Grande. Must have dust somewhere area. So that's a choice that you make. If you want to see Phoenix, then I highly recommend going north to Gila Bend and going through that part of Phoenix. I myself don't want to ride through Phoenix, so I took an alternate route. You certainly get a lot more residential area and a lot more places to stop going north from Gila Bend. However, that would be the day after this, depending on how you make the stops. For me, it was the next day. This was 72 miles total, as I said already. So I'm not really looking to try to make a 100-mile day. I don't need to, and 72 seems a nice round number to max out in the 70 to 75 mile range. I was never bothered by traffic in the freeway. None of these big rigs ever came close. In fact, most of them drove in the other lane so that they would have no effect on you. And whether you ride the freeway and where there is a side road, take that. I'm going to leave that up to you. My preference is the freeway. So up here shortly, I'm going to have a stop, and I'm actually going to uh, switch with my wife, where she's going to ride 14 miles, and she's going to be going up over this little rise. If you look down the bottom in the middle of the elevation chart, and then I will start over after that. Now, as I've said in my other videos, we're doing this videotaping at 10 times the normal speed, and its disadvantage is you don't see clearly how that road really is. The main advantage, and the reason I'm doing it this way, is you can actually see the entire route that I've ridden from San Diego all the way to Phoenix, and you have an idea what the shoulder looks like, where it's good, where it's bad. And I've pointed out the really bad parts of the road, and I think you can actually see that when this road does get bad, you can see it even at this speed. This is the switch that we made. So this is Vicky. Now I apologize. The reason the video isn't up correctly is I adjusted the GoPro mount on Vicky and had it down too far. Obviously, it should be up a little higher. That would be nice. But on the other hand, you get to see the ground a lot clearer here. I'm a little behind on the video on the right. I apologize, but hopefully we'll match up here shortly. What Vicky's doing is actually slowly going uphill, and she's going to go over the hill. I'm not even sure if you can see it in the distance here on this map because it's so gentle. Oh, there you go. She's going up over that hill and down the other side. So that's what's happening here. And so you can see the scenery hasn't changed any. She's not going really by anywhere where she can really stop. And when we get used to doing what we're doing, we'll be able to turn off the GoPro when we stop and make it a lot easier. I'm interested as to why those are even lines. Obviously, there had been farming off to the right when they did this aerial video for Google Maps. But if you're looking at her road, you can see there is nothing wrong with the road she's riding on here. And obviously Vicky's putting up on her phone. I'm not quite sure. I think she wanted music to listen to. So here we go again. And again, this part of the ride is 14 miles. You're not really seeing anything other than on the 3D map of what's going on. And quite frankly, if we pointed it up, you wouldn't see much of anything anyway. Again, I admit this is more of an endurance ride through here because there isn't much to see, and it's more getting from one place to the other and accomplishing the task involving the ride in the southern tier. So shortly she'll be going up over the hill and going downhill. And then a short time after that, I'll take over. And when I take over, what I'm going to do is I'm doing a ride for 1 hour, just trying to go as fast as I can. So I'm putting about 85% of my effort out to try to sustain it for the entire hour and get as close to the rest area as possible. And Vicky was going to ride to the end of the rest area, but it ended up that I was only like a mile and a half from the rest area, so I finished the ride. It's kind of a waste to change for that short distance. We were thinking it was going to be more like 5 miles. So during that 1 hour, I think I covered 24 miles. And that's the advantage of having a pedal assist bike. You can put on the power when you need to. So here she's going through the downhill. And that is really, the rest is the gentle uphill for the rest of the day. And she is now at the rest area where we're swapping out. And I'm going to be taking over. And let's see if we can get these matched up here. I'm just trying to match up the video so that apparently we stopped it for quite a long time. So here we go. Now I'm going to lose my I'm just not coordinated with the video right now because I make those mistakes of not stopping the GoPro. And not trusting to start it again. And I'm going to have to start learning to trust that part of it. And as I said, this is just it's an hour-long ride just to go as fast as I can. And there wasn't much change in the road. You can see there's this bend here. but there's not much difference. I can ride it, and I don't think we passed any real area. I can't even tell when the road is turning, but well, according to the map, we're coming up on a food place. And let's see. That looks like I'm pretty close to being in line with it, with the two videos together, assuming I have the right place. That's what that looked like. Um, Obviously, I don't need to stop. I'm just going and traveling. And again, the road's a little rougher right here because I'm moving back and forth. Uh, and when I move back and forth, that's to avoid some of the bumps in the freeway. But this on this day, the road was never that bumpy that it made me want to not be riding on the freeway. Uh, in the day six's ride, I can tell you the road to Gila Bend was terrible, and I actually would have ridden the surface road, but for the fact that my wife might not have known that's where I was and would have been looking for me. This was probably the worst part of the road right here of this trip. And there we go. And going up over these overpasses was the narrowest part of the ride. It really wasn't all that bad. You saw that it sufficient shoulder to be safe. So now all we're doing is having a race down to the Sentinel West area. And I'm not sure on the map to the right. I know it has Sentinel on there somewhere. See if I can go forward. I guess that's near the top of the map there. So that's where we're riding to, I think. And so very shortly, I will have completed my hour ride. Uh, but my wife didn't understand. I signaled to her 3 more minutes, and she thought I meant 3 more miles. So we rode past that. And that was where I signaled to her. Sorry. So from here on out, it's a short ride. You can see, looking at the map on the bottom, we're close to the rest area and the end of the ride. I appreciate you viewing this video. If you can make comments on how you think I can improve it, let me know. I will accept any positive comments because I'm learning this on how to do this and want to make it more enjoyable. And if you can like it, that would be good too. I will be posting all the videos that I do on this ride. So here we are, 1.5 miles from the rest area. And that's the rest area we're coming up on. So again, thank you for watching this video, and hopefully you'll watch the next video.